It started as a simple birthday celebration for a mutual friend, a night that promised laughter, music, and a few drinks to unwind. Emily, my wife, and I arrived together, dressed nicely and ready to enjoy ourselves. I expected a calm, familiar evening, the kind where we'd chat with friends, maybe share a few laughs, and quietly celebrate. But almost immediately, something felt off. Emily wasn't herself. At first, I chalked it up to the excitement of the party, but it quickly became clear that this wasn't just energy or fun. She was different, in a way that made me uneasy. Her laughter was louder than usual, bordering on theatrical, and she seemed to drift from group to group with a flirtatious ease that didn't sit right. Every touch, every glance toward the men around her seemed deliberate, a little too calculated, almost as if our marriage was invisible in that room. I tried to brush it off at first. Maybe she was just enjoying the moment, being social. But then I saw her with Jason, a guy she had been talking to all evening. The way she leaned into him, the way she laughed at his every word, it wasn't casual. It was intimate, deliberate. My chest tightened, a knot forming in my stomach that I couldn't ignore. I wanted to confront her, to pull her aside and demand an explanation, but we were in the middle of a crowded room, and any confrontation here would have been ridiculous, messy, humiliating even. So instead, I took a deep breath, told myself to stay calm, and tried to think it through. If she wanted to act like she was single, maybe I could respond in kind, but subtly, carefully, without making a scene. That's when I noticed Claire, Emily's best friend. Claire was always kind, gentle, and neutral, the kind of person who would never stir conflict but could hold a conversation with grace. A plan began to form, quiet and controlled. I approached her with a casual smile. "May I have this dance?" I asked, nodding toward the dance floor. Claire blinked in surprise but nodded, accepting. The DJ shifted the music to a slower, melodic song, and I led her onto the floor. At first, Claire was a bit hesitant, unsure how far she should go. I kept everything light, careful, making it look innocent yet noticeable enough to draw eyes. Emily's reaction was instant. Her eyes widened, and I saw the flush rise in her cheeks. She stopped mid-step, jaw tight, probably debating whether to intervene. But I didn't rush anything. I kept my movements calm, deliberate, showing enjoyment without crossing any boundaries. Claire relaxed, laughing softly, matching my pace, and slowly the room started to notice us. Whispers spread, curious glances followed. Emily's face grew redder with every passing second, and I knew she realized exactly what was happening. She had spent the evening flaunting this carefree, single energy, assuming nobody would notice, or that if they did, it wouldn't matter. But now, with all eyes subtly on us, her actions seemed reckless, almost childish. I twirled Claire gently once, the crowd reacting with a polite cheer, and Emily froze, mid-step, the realization settling in. This wasn't about jealousy, this was about respect. About showing her, in a calm and undeniable way, that our relationship deserved recognition and consideration, even in a social setting. Emily finally approached, cautiously, her voice barely above a whisper. I didn't mean anything," she said, faltering, searching my expression for anger. I smiled softly, keeping my hands lightly on Claire's shoulders, steady and reassuring. "I know," I said quietly, letting the words hang between us. "But maybe next time, remember, even at a party, we're a team. Actions have consequences." The weight of my words sank in. Her cheeks were flushed, a mixture of embarrassment and recognition. The whispers from the guests, the small shift in attention, the subtle awkwardness, it all reflected back to her choices. She hadn't thought about the consequences of acting carelessly, about the small but powerful message her behavior sent. Claire leaned in and whispered a quiet thank you to me, and I nodded. I wasn't trying to make her uncomfortable or steal her spotlight. This was about awareness, about gently reminding Emily that our partnership demanded respect, even in the midst of fun. As the song drew to a close, I guided Claire back to her spot, and Emily followed, still visibly affected, her steps tentative. "I get it," she admitted softly, avoiding my gaze. I took her hand, squeezing it gently. "Good," I said. That's all I wanted. Awareness. Respect. Partnership. Fun is fine, but it should never come at the expense of the person you love. She nodded, her hand tightening around mine. You're right. I got carried away. I won't do it again. From that moment on, the energy between us shifted. Emily became attentive, engaged with me, aware of her interactions, mindful of boundaries that had been blurred earlier. No more over-the-top flirting, no more careless displays. That night became a subtle lesson, not delivered with anger or shaming, but with quiet clarity. Actions, even small ones, have consequences. Respect isn't optional in a partnership, it's the foundation. As we left the party, the night air cool against our skin, Emily leaned on my shoulder and whispered, "Thanks for showing me," in such a calm way. I smiled, realizing she had understood the lesson without words, without conflict. Sometimes, the most effective reminders come from moments of gentle clarity, not confrontation. In that quiet walk home, I felt a renewed sense of connection, a reminder that love isn't about public displays, ego, or attention. It's about being present, aware, and respectful, about walking together through moments big and small. Emily had acted single that night, chasing attention she didn't fully realize could hurt, but by the time we left, she had remembered what it truly meant to be present in a relationship. Not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, and ethically. And I understood something too, that sometimes the best lessons aren't taught through words, but through calm, intentional actions, even on a crowded dance floor. It was a night that reinforced the subtle power of partnership, the quiet importance of respect, and the fact that love, when nurtured, is always worth protecting.